Saturday, December 2nd, Phoenix, Arizona. The ATF gave a closed to the public update on the status of forms, eForms, and some updates regarding NFA. Fortunately, we had a guy on the inside who was there. That's right. Welcome back to the channel, Mr. Michael Kwiatkowski of FFLexpert.com, linked below. He's going to be talking about what he learned and share it with us all. So guys, let's get into it. Mike, first off, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful trip.
Tell us about it. So what brought you out there? What was going on?
Well, the viewers wouldn't necessarily know, but I used to live in Arizona. I lived out in Mesa, which is east of Phoenix, and Gold Canyon, which is actually the next county over. Lived out there for 5 years. It had a major impact on my life, and I still return there annually to go to the SAR show.
And for those who don't know, the Small Arms Review Show, what is it?
Yes, Small Arms Review Show it's a gun show within a show. Crossroads of the West does the gun shows out west. And every December, it's normally the first weekend of December, they have what's called the SAR or SAR show, which is Small Arms Review, put on by Small Arms Review magazine. I believe it's Chipotle Publishing. And it is essentially only NFA. So you'll see perfectly normal tables, but they're going to have a couple $1 million in machine guns laid out. I have seen direct fire mortars from naval ships laid out, military vehicles parked outside, and it's one of just 3 or 4 buildings at this show. And because it's Arizona, December, it's 70 and sunny normally, so there's plenty of tents out and other things like that. It's an absolutely wonderful time. And
as someone who's known you for quite a few years, I can definitely vouch for the fact that you definitely go there every single year. So what's this ATF update?
First, the ATF update is something that some years it happens, some years it doesn't. It really comes down to politics and who's in charge at the time. There are times where it's the NFA TCA or the NFA Trade and Collectors Association giving the update. Other times you may have somebody there on an unofficial basis. In the past, I think it was Dan Pinkney, but don't quote me on that, who is one of the former ATF examiners, actually came out and looked around to see the other end of the NFA world. And sometimes, like just this year, you'll get ATF officials who will come out and give an update. And those officials can range from, I dislike the term low level, but more of a basic level, all the way up to some I've never seen a division head, but 1 or 2 people under them. And those updates can be very interesting. They're held early on Saturday morning. The show is closed to the public at that point. It's usually an hour, hour and a half. Occasionally it'll stretch into 2 hours. And the general public is not in on these.
Well, they are now. What's going on?
Well, this year we had someone in who spoke to eForms as opposed to regular forms. And in terms of what was discussed, one of the first things that they went into is applications, application status, things like that. The NFA received 764,814 applications in fiscal year 2022. The fiscal year is not yet done with for 2023. They are at 1,061,068 applications. And the date was sometime in November when they pulled those numbers. So that is a 28% increase year over year. In terms of processing, they processed 709,508 applications in fiscal year 2022. And again, into sometime in November 2023, they had processed 1,069,787 applications. And it's a 34% increase year over year. So when the NFA branch says that their workload is increasing, they are telling the truth.
Well, that's good to hear, I think, on multiple fronts. And of course, I noticed that you're saying that they had a 28% increase in applications, but I think you said a 34% increase as far as dispositions. So am I to hear that we can look at those numbers and infer that the wait times are shrinking?
Yes. By that, not necessarily dispositions, but processing. They are in process. They're actively working on them. That doesn't necessarily mean that there is a final disposition. And if you did notice also, they had received 1,061,000 applications, but they've processed 1,069,000. So they are actively working on getting these through. They are handling prior year applications as well. Another thing that I found interesting were their staffing levels. There were 34 examiners for all of these applications in 2022. They are up to, I believe it is 48 examiners for 2023. That's pretty incredible that they're doing that much with that few of people.
That's more than an assembly line at that point. I mean, they are really hammering through them.
Yes, they are. In terms of average processing times, and this is as of November 30th, which I found very interesting. An eForm 1, the average is 68 days versus a paper form 1, 71 days. For our manufacturers out there who are using a Form 2, eForm, average of 7 days, paper form, an average of 14 days. And that is when a manufacturer manufactures an NFA firearm. Form 3 transfers are the same. If it's an eForm, 7 days. If it's a paper form, 14 days.
And for those of you who don't know, of course, Form 3, we're talking dealer to dealer, things like that.
SOT to SOT. Form 4, which is what I'm sure most of our audience is going to be very interested in knowing. We are looking at an average of 225 days for an eForm 4 and 232 days on a paper. And again, these are averages. They do note that things have recently been falling.
Well, that's obviously positive insofar as we're going down. All these numbers are still insane to my eyes. I mean, I remember the days when we were measuring this in weeks, and, a month to 2 months tops was what we're looking at.
As a dealer, I often had, and this was in the 2004, 5, and 6 era, 30-day transfers on a Form 4. Now, with that said, when I got my audits, I can also tell you that the transfers from that time were the ones that led to the most problems in audits. Things weren't recorded correctly. Things were in the registry incorrectly. In one case, the ATF had said that they never approved that transfer, and thankfully I'd saved photocopies of everything. So they were moving quick then, but they also made a lot of mistakes. I'd like to see a happy middle ground, of course, tilted toward the 30 days.
Do you think a lot of those mistakes may have been attributable to lack of a digital database or something like that?
Well, that is a fair question. I know that the NFA, the National Registry, is finally in a database. I've heard stories up into the 80s, 90s, that this was still on paper. Everything was done on Rolodexes. And it has been proven that disgruntled ATF employees shredded registrations. And that is why when someone applies to transfer a firearm, it's not uncommon. You'll get a letter, proof of registration. And as soon as you provide that, they just put it back on the registry. But it has been proven that prior employees did things they were not supposed to do.
Guys, if you're curious to have Mike back to explore this interesting topic, be sure to let us know in the comment field below. What else did you learn?
The 5320, which is the interstate transport form for everything except suppressors and AOWs, that's paper only for reasons that I cannot comprehend, and that's at 14 days. In my experience, I've found them longer, but this is what they've had to say. The other part of the discussion was related to what causes problems with form submission. And the biggest thing that they ran into are people who are having trouble with the system, adding zeros. For example, they ask your social security number. And people who do not want to add it will put in zeros. Don't do that. Leave it blank. When you put in zeros, the computer thinks, oh, their social security number is all zeros, and rejects the form. And of course, that happens after many months have passed, which leads to everybody pulling out their hair. Trust names. If you have the Bob Smith Trust and you put it in as the Bob R. Smith Trust, you're going to have a problem. If you forget to put in your responsible persons, you're going to have a problem. If you do not fit into one of these 7, if you are not a U.S. citizen, if you don't have one of the 7 non-immigrant exceptions, you're going to have a problem. First and last name of the buyer need to match the user profile perfectly. So if your name is Robert Smith and you go in under Bob Smith, you are going to have a problem. And these are just some of the common things that are creating headaches throughout the industry.
Anything else?
You have the option and the opportunity to review your paperwork before you submit. Always review. It's amazing what will come up, and it's amazing what you will find. The other items are more for the FFLs relating to responsible parties, who should be doing what, and who has the right to do what. And making sure that if you have a disgruntled employee, you get them off the system immediately. If you have a fired employee, get them off the system immediately. Things of that nature.
And of course, if they don't do that, or if there's problems that they need to have fixed or examined or consulted on, that's where you come in with fflexpert.com, right?
Absolutely. We definitely help with those sorts of things.
So guys, be sure to check them out. Mike, as always, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, thanks for sticking around to the end. If you made it this far, be sure to hit that like, comment down below with questions, topics you want us to see if we could just cajole Mike to come back on. This one's going to be a little bit of a different flavor for our quote of the day. This one comes from an individual who goes only by the name of Uncle Slayton with his Texas pride. And his quote is, "Remember kids, only the first felony hurts." To be clear, that is in no way, shape, or form legal advice. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next time. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this one, please feel free to check out some of our other great content, and we'll see you in the next one.